Hello and welcome to another reading vlog. So today I am reading a whole bunch of books that have come in at the library. So they're all physical books. Do have to get through them quickly because I cannot renew them. So that is on the agenda. I think this might be the last vlog for August, we'll see. But today I'm heading out to the city to meet my cousin for brunch, and I will see you when I get back.
Lion chest. Just stop purring! Because I said lion chest. Oh, I do like lions. I can tell because you start purring.
Okay guys, so I just thought I'd let you know what I'm reading after finishing the last book for the bookshop battle vlog. I needed something to scrub my brain and erase the memory of the previous book. And so I decided to start reading Begin Again by Helly Acton. So this is I would call it a rom-com in which you have a woman who's not really accomplished much in life. All of her friends are married or coupled or super successful with their businesses, and she hasn't really done much of anything. And one night on her birthday, she decides to grab a kebab and ends up dying because of it. She goes to a way station, a purgatory, a limbo, a crossroads, and they've told her she's going to be given a second chance to begin again. Basically, they're going to give her 24 hours in 5 different lives, so lives based upon her changing one thing. So one big decision that she made, she's now done the opposite, and that's what her life would have been like. And from her 24 hours in each of these 5 lives, she has to decide which one she's going to pick to be her new life. So I am, where am I in this? So I am at page 204, and the next part is Grow Up or Glow Up. Wag spends fortune to look half her age. So each chapter has a clickbaity kind of title because she works for a newspaper and writes articles. That does remind me, I think Abby Jimenez did that in her latest book. Clickbaity kind of titles. Someone's done it recently. This is what happens when you read too many books. They all start to merge together. Right now, it's giving me definitely The Husbands and Love of My Afterlife. So we'll see how we go. Like I said, I'm just over halfway, so hopefully I'll finish this today. The next book that I'm going to pick up from my stack, I'll just show you my stack of paperback books that have come in at the library all at the same time. I will admit, I do find it very difficult to read the paper books at nighttime. My elbows get very, very, very sore. So I don't love that. And I've tried to see if I could get the ebooks for any of these, but they're not available right now. So I'm going to have to just push through the pain, but I'll show you the other options. The next book that I'm probably going to pick up is Hades by Mark Knowles. It says The Age of Heroes is Dead. This is after the Argonauts. It's a book about Greek mythology. We'll see how we go. I will just give these 50 pages because me and Greek mythology retellings are not friends. Even though I really want to be. I really try hard to make it work. It's just not happening. Then I've got Because I'm Not Myself, You See by Ariane Beston. And this is a memoir of motherhood madness and coming back from the brink. I think the cover is gorgeous. I absolutely love anything with a floral design. So that's something that I can change up now. So those two are first off because they're due back. Then we've got Big Time by Jordan Prosser. So this is a dystopian set in Melbourne. And it says it's an anti-fascist ode to the power of pop music wrapped up in an unforgettable psychedelic road trip. This cover caught my eye and I just grabbed it. Then there was this book, The Orange Room by Rosie Price. I've never seen this before. I don't know anything about it. It seems to be a litfic. It's a story of a tenacious young woman who, through her art, her strength, her determination, finds her way back to herself. So we'll see what that's like. I've also got Anne Carson, Wrong Norma. So this is a collection of writings. I'll just flip through so you can see what I mean. No idea what it's about. Like I said, I just go to the new releases and I grab whatever catches my eye. Like As Young as This by Roxy Dunn, which looks like another litfic. These are the men Margot has loved, liked, and lusted over. And the last book that I picked up was Together We Fall Apart by Sophie Matheson. This once again has a beautiful cover, and it's a novel about love, desire, family, and connection, so it seems like another litfic. So maybe I will read all of them because I have a feeling, I have an inkling that a lot of these will be DNFs because these aren't books that were on my TBR, they're just books I picked up at the library on a whim because they're new and shiny. So I will finish off Begin Again, and then I actually might try memoir to shift things up, and then we'll try this out. I'm just gonna bang my way through these books. Okay, so I have finished Begin Again by Helly Acton, and I think I'm going to, I'm oscillating between a 3 and 3.5. I'm going to give it a 3. And that's because I did like The Husbands and Love of My Afterlife more. And this does have a very similar vibe. I'd say the main issue I have with this is that I don't really like Frankie as a character. And I also felt that it wasn't a very deep book. It was very light on these sort of life lessons and emotional depth. I didn't really feel anything, and none of the love stories really appealed to me, and the lives she had were pretty boring. Like they're all kind of mid, nothing really exciting. Her choice too was very predictable, so it's a very predictable book. But I think if you're looking for something cozy and rom-commy and light and breezy, then you would enjoy this. I just tend to need a bit more. I don't mind if it's on the lighter side as long as it has humor or maybe some really great characters or great writing. Like I need something to make up for the lack of depth and excitement and tension, so to speak. But yeah, it's a 3-star read. It was still decent. It was good for what I needed, which was a refresh, a palette cleanser, if you will, and it definitely did the job. I think I'm going to pick up the memoir now, and I will chat to you guys once I've read some of it. Okay, so I have just read 60 pages of Because I'm Not Myself, You See. I am going to DNF it. It is just incredibly depressing. So it is about a child protection worker who ends up having her own child, and it seems to get postnatal depression, then winds up being, on the other side of what her job normally entails. Yeah, there was a bit too where they're removing Indigenous Australian children from their homes, but then they're placing them in foster care with non-Indigenous Australian foster parents, which is like against a certain act that's meant to prioritise Indigenous Australian children staying in the community. It's just depressing. It's depressing. I can't read any more about children being taken away from parents who are neglecting them or abusing them. It's too heavy. Like, it is written well, but I just don't want to read about this subject matter. Maybe if it was just about one person's experience with postpartum depression, but because, like I said, it's been a lot about her cases and the other families at this point in time, I'm just not feeling it. So I have decided to DNF it, and I'm going to pick up Hades next. Okay, I'm back with another DNF, Hades by Mark Knowles. This book was incredibly dry. It felt like I was reading a historical nonfiction book, and it was very male-centric. I didn't feel any sort of emotional depth or attachment to any of the characters, and I was honestly bored to tears. It smells lovely, I'll admit that. It's got a great book smell, and the pages are so thin, very, very thin. So even though this is 480 pages, because the font is small and the paper is so thin, it's a big read. It's a big book. So yeah, I have decided to DNF it. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not into it. So I think I'm actually going to get through all of the books because, like I hypothesized, because I just grabbed these books without knowing what they were about, most of them are probably just not for me in terms of the style, the subject matter, or I'm just not feeling it. So that whole stack, I'm just going to try and get through it all for this vlog and then make this the last vlog of August. The next book I'm going to pick up is Big Time. It is the sort of dystopian one. And if that's no good, I might pick up one of the smaller ones just to boost myself. Because sometimes when you just pick up book after book that you're not into, you can get slumpy. So I will see how we go. And yeah, I'll probably touch in again today. You'll see me so much. Okay, so I read 50 pages of Big Time by Jordan Prosser. So this is a book where there's a new drug called F, and it allows you to see into the future, your own future. And you open up with a guy, a bit of a douchebag, who pushes a drunk man down. That drunk man dies. This douchebag just continues on, does some coke in a taxi, gets on an aeroplane, is given the drug F, and then you're told, okay, this is what happens. So it's set in sort of a future dystopian Australia. And this book is basically like doing drugs with a bunch of bogans. It's not for me. It's not for me. There's a lot of cussing, and I don't like reading very ochre Aussie books. And like I said, because of the drug use in this, it just feels like you're on drugs. Everyone's on drugs, everyone's tripping, everyone's cooked, and I don't want to read about it. So this one isn't for me. I will be picking up something else. Let's see what I'm going to pick up. I think I'm going to go with Wrong Norma by Anne Carson and see what it's like. And I'll let you know how I go. Hopefully there'll be one of these books that I've just randomly selected from the library that I like. It's the risk you take when you're going in absolutely blind, but we'll see. Even if I just get one good read, that would be fantastic. If not, oh well. Okay, so I read half of this. Not for me. I don't even know what it's about. It says it's a collection of different things, like Guantanamo, snow, dad, Saturday night. Nothing's linked. That's why I've called them wrong. That's accurate. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't get it. I don't get it. And there was lots of like pages like this. Yeah. I think this will speak to some very few people, and the rest of us are just going to be confused, and I am the rest of us. So this one's not for me. I'll move on to another book. Not having much luck with these new releases from the library, but we'll see. Okay, so I started reading The Orange Room by Rosie Price. This is a litfic. You've got a woman named Rianne who lives with her dad and her stepmom. Her bio mum died when she was 3, and her stepmom came into their lives when she was 6. There seems to be some sort of incident that's occurred. I'm guessing it's sexual harassment. She's currently working elsewhere. There seems to be a vibe with her and the chef who works there. It's fine. I just don't care. I've read 50 pages and I just don't care. And so I am going to DNF it. Like I said, this is not me picking books that I think I would be into. It's just whatever came in. And I don't want to push myself when I'm not enjoying my time. So I'm going to let this one go. I think there's 2 options left.
I like the shape of this.
Okay, so I started reading Together We Fall Apart by Sophie Matheson. And this is about a woman who grew up in Australia, in Victoria, and then went to London, fell in love with a lady. They have a son together. Her father is dying, so she returns back home to Melbourne and reunites with her family. This was just too close to home. So she lives in an area I grew up in. She's changed the name of the schools to fictional titles, but I'm pretty sure we went to the same school. Hey, Sylvie. We went to the same university. We had studied the same degree. It was just too eerie. And then it got to the point where the father was dying, and they've told the family that he's going to probably start eating less, and then he'll start sleeping more, and then he'll pass away. And it's just too much like what happened with my grandmother. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do this. It feels weird. So I skipped ahead. Sylvie, don't put your butt there, mate. I skipped ahead and I read the ending. No, the character does something that I can't stand. I can't stand. Something like a family member did to me as well. And I'm like, So this isn't for me. I think if you really want to read all about Melbourne, like they talk about specific cafes and places and streets. So it's very much placed in a location. Like I said, it was just very similar to how I grew up. So it was just freaking me out. It's just freaking me out. This might be great, but it's not for me. And especially with that ending, I would have been irate if I'd read the whole book just for the main character to make that choice at the end. I would have been pissed. So not for me. There's one more book left. I'm sorry if this is really shaky, but Sylvie. This one is As Young as This, and it's about all the men Margot has lusted after. She's single at 34 and about to make the biggest decision of her life. So we'll see what it's like. I might read this tonight and then update you tomorrow because I'm very tired now. But a lot of books today. 50 pages of a lot of books. Okay guys, so I read the final one, As Young as This by Roxy Dunn, and I am giving it 3.5 stars. So basically it is a slice of life about a woman and her dating life, her romantic history. So you go through about 17 years of all of the men that she has been with. It is not a romance, it is a litfic. So majority of these relationships are not great, especially the one with the married man. I hated reading about that one. And yeah, the ending, it makes sense for the character, but my God, it is depressing. This is a depressing book. Maybe I just feel that way because I am also a single woman in her late 30s. But yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. It was well done for what it is. I didn't particularly love the story though. I didn't particularly love the main character. I don't think she made all the right choices. But I think if you like litfic books about women growing up, the whole journey of womanhood in regards to love and how it affects your life, then you might enjoy this. So let's take a look at all of the books that I read. I'll start with all the DNFs because there were so many. So we had The Orange Room by Rosie Price, Hades by Mark Knowles, Wrong Norma by Anne Carson, Big Time by Jordan Prosser, Together We Fall Apart by Sophie Matheson, Because I'm Not Myself, You See by Ariane Beeston, Begin Again by Helly Acton, which I gave a 3 stars, and the final book, As Young as This by Roxy Dunn, which I gave a 3.5 stars. So unfortunately, no spectacular books. Majority of these were not for me, but it was still fun to just grab whatever came in and see if there were any gems, any treasures. It was like lucky dip, basically. I will still give new books a go, but I might read the blurbs first to see if it sounds like something I would enjoy. But that was everything. I have decided to do one more video for this month because I DNF'd so many of these books. I finished this reading vlog in a very short amount of time. So I'm going to do part 2 of recommendations next, and that will be the last vlog for August. But until next time, stay well, Star Child.